Yesterday, we went 1-2, down 1.2 units. Foxborough turned into a turnover snow globe, and our Texans plus 3.5 got buried under 4 Stroud picks like it was evidence in a true crime documentary. Kyron Williams, though, showed up in moon boots and still stampeded for 87 yards and 2 scores, so at least Soldier Field didn't fully rob us. Then the Lakers decided to rediscover defense and held Toronto to 93, which is not exactly the vibes we needed for an over. Cool. We move. Here are today's 3 picks up front. Brighton and Hove Albion moneyline at minus 115. Elijah Sarratt over 56.5 receiving yards at minus 114 in Miami versus Indiana. And New York Knicks minus 10 at minus 110 against Dallas. Let's start on the South Coast. Bournemouth at Brighton and Hove Albion. We're taking Brighton moneyline at minus 115, and the core logic is simple. The market is pricing this like Bournemouth is the same team we've been seeing all season, and they're not. Their attack basically got hit with the January window version of a tornado siren. Antoine Semenyo is gone, Justin Clivert is out after knee surgery, and that combo matters because it's not just goals missing, it's the entire escape hatch. Those were the guys who could take one touch, turn pressure into oxygen, and keep Bournemouth from defending for 90 minutes straight. Now zoom in on what Brighton does well in this exact matchup. Brighton's underlying chance creation has been living in European-level territory, even when results look mid-table. They generate quality looks, they tilt the field, and at home they've been a nightmare for Bournemouth specifically. Brighton has won the last 4 league meetings at the Amex, and it hasn't been squeaky. It's been you blink and you're down 2 goals energy. That matters because it tells us Brighton's style consistently pulls Bournemouth into the kind of defensive shape they hate, stretched, chasing, and one mistake away from a cutback tap-in. Tactically, the problem for Bournemouth is on their right side. Brighton's left is where the game turns into a science experiment. Purvis Estupinian overlapping, Kaoru Mitoma isolating fullbacks, and suddenly it's a 1-versus-1 where the defender is basically asking for a witness protection program. And without Semenyo doing the dirty work tracking back, Bournemouth's right back can get stranded on an island with Mitoma, and that island has no food, no water, and the only entertainment is getting dribbled past. The numbers back it up too. When we strip away the noise, Brighton's modeled win probability sits around the mid-60s. The price at minus 115 implies barely above the low 50s. That gap is the whole reason we're here. And the weather angle quietly favors Brighton as well. Cold, calm conditions reward clean passing and patient circulation. If Bournemouth can't hold the ball up and can't counter with speed, they just spend the night doing defensive cardio. So we're not asking Brighton to win pretty. We're asking them to win the game that the matchup keeps producing at this stadium. Pressure, territory, and Bournemouth eventually cracking. Brighton money line minus 115. All right, pick 2. Elijah Sarratt over 56.5 receiving yards at minus 114. Indiana versus Miami. Yes, we're betting a prop in a national title game because nothing says healthy hobbies like sweating target share while the confetti cannons warm up. Here's the angle. Indiana's offense is an efficiency machine. Their success rate is elite. Their quarterback Fernando Mendoza plays mistake-free, and their run game forces defenses into uncomfortable choices. Miami's pass rush can absolutely wreck a game, but it needs Indiana to live in obvious passing downs. And Indiana's whole personality is, we do not do obvious passing downs. They run efficiently enough to keep second and medium, third and short, and that's where play action and intermediate routes cash checks. Now, the Sarratt-specific reason, Miami is missing their best cover corner, Xavier Lucas, for the first half. That is a giant neon sign that says, attack here. In a normal game, you can hide a coverage weakness. In a title game, you get hunted like it's open season. Indiana's staff will absolutely identify the replacement and test him early because the easiest way to win a championship is to take the free yards before the defense can adjust. And Sarratt is not some boom or bust gadget guy. His recent production profile is exactly what we want for an over. Over his last 9 games, he's averaging about 71 receiving yards per game, and he's scored a touchdown in 9 straight. That tells us he's not just a chain mover, he's a primary option in the areas that matter, third down and red zone. For this line, we don't even need the red zone. We just need steady volume and 1 or 2 chunk plays off play action when Miami creeps a safety into the box to survive the run. The yardage bar is friendly. If Sarratt sees 8 to 10 targets, we can clear 56.5 with 5 catches at normal efficiency. The only real sweat is a game script where Indiana gets up big and turns the fourth quarter into a 3-yard cloud of dust. But the first half matchup advantage is exactly why we're betting it. Indiana should throw enough early, and Sarratt should be the biggest beneficiary. So we're on Elijah Sarratt over 56.5 receiving yards minus 114. Now the nightcap, Dallas at New York. We're laying 10 with the Knicks. New York Knicks minus 10, minus 110. This is a classic spot where recent box scores try to lie to us. Dallas just put up cartoon numbers against Utah, And if you only looked at points scored, you'd think, wow, the Mavericks are back. No. Utah's defense has been a public service announcement all season. Dallas scoring 140 on them is like winning a hot dog eating contest against a toddler. Congratulations, but also relax. The real issue is Dallas's injury and availability situation, especially in the front court. If Anthony Davis is out, and Derek Lively II is out, and Daniel Gafford is out, that's not a couple guys missing. That's the entire spine of your interior defense gone. And that's exactly where the Knicks can turn this into a long, unpleasant evening. Paint touches, offensive rebounds, second chance points, and Karl Anthony Towns treating Dwight Powell like a practice cone with good intentions. This matchup screams possession advantage for New York. The Knicks project to rebound a massive share of their own misses in this spot, and extra possessions are how favorites cover big numbers without needing to shoot 50% from three. Add in the situational angle. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day at Madison Square Garden, the Knicks are trying to snap a skid, and the energy is usually dialed up. Also, New York plays slower than people think, which helps them build leads methodically and forces the underdog to execute in the half court. Dallas, short on creators and bigs, is exactly the type of team that starts taking emergency threes when they can't score inside. The model output lands with New York winning by about 15 in the median result and covering 10 a little better than 63% of the time. That's a strong cover profile for an NBA spread, and it's driven by the most stable thing we can bet, availability and matchup geometry. Dallas is small and thin where New York is big and relentless. So we're on Knicks -10, -110. Quick recap of today's card. Brighton and Hove Albion moneyline -115. Elijah Sarratt over 56.5 receiving yards -114. New York Knicks -10 -110. Let's be smarter than yesterday's turnover snow globe. Shop your number, keep stakes disciplined, and please do not bet your rent because you felt a vibe. We're here for edges, not for eviction notices.